was the one who actually killed the IFP people. And if I invade your house, you can't fold your arms and wait for the police to come. You will defend yourself. The IFP was defending themselves from the people who went to the east and traded for war. They called it's a people's war before they even arrive in the country.
I just wonder how we can do better. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, remember the stories. And we've heard the stories reiterated over the past week or so since the death of Prince Buthelezi. How do we process the complex legacy? And let's be clear, for some it's complex, for others clear-cut, whereby they say, I mean, he was a man of the people, he did good for the communities, etc. But some, it's complicated for a lot of others. I wonder, how do we get to a better place where we can heal wounds moving forward?
No, I think if we want to heal the wounds, it's a simple thing. Firstly is that the ANC is in charge of the country. But the ANC can't tell you that the IFP refused to come to the negotiating table because we are ready to be called. That is the only thing that I can actually say right now, that the IFP over years, we have been waiting for the ANC to call us on the table so that we are able to talk about this thing so that we can put it behind ourselves. But if it continues like this, because sometime the ANC come at the 11th hour when we are going towards the election, you can't discuss issues of reconciliation, issues of peace while you are going to the election. We need to discuss this issue when the task for elections are actually settled.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kwala, for that and giving us your own reflections. And do, of course, stay tuned to the SABC is going to be bringing you more of these particular conversations. And spotted a little earlier on is Inkosi Pategile Olomisa. Yes. There's been a number of dignitaries that have arrived, Glenn.
It is indeed a special official funeral, Category 1. It is accorded to people with extraordinary credentials. What does that mean? Well, credentials meaning the abilities and experiences of such a person as designated by the President of the Republic of South Africa. You are bound to see a lot of elements of church, but also of military honors as well. Military honors that is part of a special funeral. We will take it back to studio and we will be keeping a close eye on proceedings. Should be starting any minute from now, but we'll take it back to Griselda Lewis live for us in studio. Griselda?
Well, Bongiwe and Blaine, live to us. Thank you very much indeed, as we continue to bring you live coverage of the funeral service of the IFP founder Inkosi Mangosuthu Buthelezi. Those live pictures right there. Thousands of mourners have gathered this morning. Some 30 minutes ago, his body left the Kwapindangene residence for that special official funeral, Category 1. You see those visuals also on your screen as the cortege makes its way. That category of a funeral, of course, accorded to persons of extraordinary credentials, specifically designated by the President of the Republic. President Cyril Ramaphosa will deliver the eulogy there today. Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, also the traditional Prime Minister of the Zulu nation, as well as a member of Parliament. As you saw there, my colleagues Blaine Herman as well as Bongiwe Zwane are at the stadium. SABC News reporters have been giving you live coverage since this morning, stationed at the stadium and elsewhere as we give you this coverage of the funeral of the late Inkosi Mangosuthu Buthelezi. If you've just joined us, I'm Griselda Lewis. Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi being laid to rest today as thousands of mourners have gathered at that stadium. You see there the President of the Republic who will deliver the eulogy, President Cyril Ramaphosa, together with the Secretary General of the ANC, that is Fikile Mbalula. Just some of the dignitaries that have gathered at that stadium, and certainly thousands of people would descend there. Yesterday we saw the remains of Inkosi Mangosuthu Buthelezi arrive at his home Kwaphindangene, that is in Ulundi in KwaZulu-Natal, and you saw hundreds of people that had been lining the streets of that town to watch the body being transported from the mortuary to his residence. Now, that cortege has already made its way from the residence, and of course a church service had been conducted yesterday. Specific rituals as well in line with the Zulu culture were also had basically been performed yesterday. IFP officials, dignitaries as well as community members had been singing very much of what you're seeing there today, a celebration of the political life of this man, also the person that they had come to know in that area, incredibly respected, as you would see by the attendance at that stadium there this morning. So we're going to be crisscrossing in between the studio here in Johannesburg, as well as to my colleague Bongiwe Zwane and Blaine Herman, who are at the stadium as well. Let's go live there once again as the cortege makes its way from the Kwaphindangene residence in Ulundi. Blaine and Bongiwe. All right, as that cortege makes its way, we'll go back to Blaine and Bongiwe very shortly. But of course, in terms of royal heritage, and that is what we have seen over the past couple of days since the announcement of the passing of the late IFP founder, President Inkosi Mangosuthu Buthelezi. He's a family man. Those are some of the sentiments that had been shared. And while his parents had been in a